Hello, everyone, and I want to welcome you all to day 3 of my Story, My Strength Challenge. This is something that I have done for me and for my healing, and hopefully, this can help someone else who needs to understand that even though healing isn't easy, it is possible. So, again, like day 1 and day 2, I'm going to talk about a story from my past that had a huge effect on how I see or how I saw myself and how it has affected me and the way I lived. And again, I'm going to give you a trigger warning. This story includes experiences of sexual assault, underage drinking, betrayal, and violation that may be triggering to some viewers. So please take care of your self. Skip, pause, or stop if you need to. Just make sure that you take care of you. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people have gone through, they've experienced, and each experience is different from person to person. Some are beautiful, and some are horrible. It's about my first time sexually. Like most girls, I wanted my first time to be with the love of my life. I actually had a boyfriend that I was dating at that time. We were just kids, just little middle school, high school crush. You're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend type situation. And he was my first love. And I would have loved for my first time to be with him and be this beautiful, magical, unforgettable experience. But it wasn't. I can say that it was an unforgettable experience, but magical was far, far from what I've hoped it would have been. I was 14 years old and I was hanging out with people that I thought I could trust. My sister, she was dating this guy. They had been dating for a while, and we were close with this family. We were really close with this family, and so I used to go over there to see them. Sometimes I would be over there waiting for my sister, and I was at his sister's house, my sister's boyfriend's sister, waiting for her to come over because I was told that she was going to be at her house, like she's going to come over here later. So I was sitting over there waiting. I was with his older brother, who was at the time about 22 years old, and two of his cousins who were about my age, So it wasn't something unusual for me to hang out with his brothers and with his cousins. They would come over our house to hang out with us. We would go over their house, hang out with them, with their grandmother. We were just really close. And his sister, she was gone. That wasn't something that was abnormal for her because she would, she's in and out. She was older than everyone, and she would just be like, don't tear up my house, y'all. Just, and she would go hang out and do what she was doing. I don't know where she was. She just, she just left. And again, this is normal for us, so I didn't really think much of it. His brother, he kind of, he was 22, so he brought alcohol, and we were kids. We started drinking with him, and again, I didn't think anything about it. He was a little flirtatious, but he kind of did that with a lot of girls. I didn't think anything about that either, because again, I was a virgin. I didn't know anything about men. I didn't know, what they were like or what they were about, how older men could be or anything. I was a tomboy and I hung out with boys, and that's where I felt comfortable with. And I never really had any bad experiences sexually up to that point. So I didn't think anything of it. So after a while, his cousins left. The cousins left, and it was just me and the older brother. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down because at this point, um, I had been drinking a lot. I maybe had 1 or 2 cups, but I wasn't a drinker. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down. But again, I felt safe with him. So I went off to their sister's room and I went to kind of sleep it off. And if my sister wasn't there, I was gonna go home. But I was hoping that she was just like, come on, come on, come on. Um, but I woke up. I woke up. I don't know how much time had passed, but I woke up, and my sister's brother's boyfriend. Again, he was the oldest brother. So my sister's boyfriend was a teenager like us. Putting that out there, he wasn't an adult, but he had an adult brother, and he was on top of me. He was already doing what it was that he was doing, and I just remember feeling confused and just sore, like, what is happening? I did not know what was going on because I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't know that the first time was not whatever it was going to be. It was not comfortable, and it was really, really painful to me. But I didn't move. I just kind of laid there, and I heard his cousins standing outside the window, kind of laughing. I don't know what they were saying, but they were laughing, and I don't know if they realized what was going on either. I don't really know. Again, I had been drinking. I was sobering up, but I had been drinking, so I just kind of laid there. Um, when he was done, he realized that I was woke, and he didn't say anything. He just kind of put on his clothes and walked out like nothing happened. And I felt dirty. I didn't understand why he did that to me. So I took a shower and then I walked home. And the next morning, my mom was in a good mood, which kind of didn't happen a lot. I'm like, okay, maybe I could talk to her about what happened. I felt safe talking to her about what happened. And for some reason, she was just like, hey, singing a song, where my little virgins at? Where my little virgins at? I kind of think that his cousins went back and told my sister or my mom something, because it was just like, where are my little virgins at? And I just kind of held my head down, like, like, this is a really bad time for you to be asking me this. And she looked at me. She was like, what happened? What's wrong? What's wrong? So I told her what happened. She got mad at me. Like, you sitting over here, you drinking with these boys, you being fast. You put yourself in a position, you wanted to do this, and she kind of beat me. She whipped me. She beat me pretty good. I was a hoe this, I was a hoe that. And she blamed me. She blamed me, kicked me, slapped me, and I was trying to tell her the truth. Like, no, I didn't. I know I shouldn't have been drinking. I held myself accountable. I know I shouldn't have been drinking, but I was with these people and I thought that it was okay. I thought I was safe. But nobody believed me. Like, nobody believed me. They thought I was lying. And for years, no one believed me. I had to hear jokes about that night, little comments. His cousins would tell people what they saw, and they made it sound like I just wanted to do that, but I didn't. I was just laying there, and even his brother would be like, "Yeah, you never forget your first," and just give me these looks, and I didn't understand. I did not understand what happened. I didn't understand what was happening to me at that time, and it was like I was being held responsible as an adult for something that happened to me as a child, and I was really, really hurt. So of course, I had negative thoughts and feelings. I felt like I was dirty and broken. I didn't. I thought I was being called a hoe, because I had sex with this man and he was in a relationship. And I was friends with the girl he was in a relationship who at the time also was a minor, but they had a baby together. Like I said, I didn't put any of this stuff together. Um, no one, no one would believe anything that I say. No one believed me. No one believed me. And I was so hurt. I felt hurt because I wasn't lying. I never understood why no one would believe me. They just made the decision to not believe me for whatever reason. Anything I've ever said, there's like, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. I'm just like, I'm not lying. But I felt like it was easier for them to call me a liar than to admit that they probably needed to call the police or do something to this man for basically date raping me and having sex with a minor. I felt like I was to blame for what happened to me. I felt like if I wouldn't have been drinking, if I wouldn't have been there waiting for my sister, if I would have just went home, this wouldn't have happened to me. And I felt like I was alone in this situation. I felt like my voice didn't matter because no matter what I said, they called me a liar. Like, you lied. You're not that. That's not true. That's not true. It's just like, how do you know I'm lying? Like, you weren't there. And the guys who were saying they're saying, oh, I saw what happened. They just saw me laying in the bed. They didn't see me doing anything other than just laying there. Was I fighting him off? No, because most of the time I was passed out drunk. So it's just like, it was because I felt him on me that woke me up. And I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. So the question I have to ask you guys, what lies about your experience have you believed? And how might your truth set you free if you allowed yourself to hear it? So it doesn't even necessarily have to be like my experience the first time I've had sex. Anything that people convinced you about your experience was a lie, that you convinced yourself was a lie. How might your truth set you free if you allow yourself to hear it? Because I was tired. I finally expressed to my sister a few weeks ago, like, no, I wasn't lying. I'm not changing my story because there's no story to change. And the guy himself, he's never actually told anyone what happened. He never said anything. I expressed what happened. I was called a liar. His cousins told me, yeah, I saw her lying in the bed there, but they never said, yeah, she was doing this. And they just said they saw me lying there. So no one knew or believed. No one had a reason to believe that I would make that up. Everyone agreed that we were drinking, but they blamed me for being drunk instead of blaming him for. I mean, I was 14. Even if I did, which I did, he was 22. He should have never have even been doing that to me in the first place. So, um, the way I reframe that is, to let myself know your worth is not defined by what happened to you. You are not dirty. You are not broken. You are not alone. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard, and you deserve to be believed. I felt the bad thing I felt was that I was to blame for that. So I had to reframe my belief into saying that I wasn't to blame for that. I was not. I was a child. This adult knew what they were doing. I was a child. So I had to reframe what happened to me does not define me. I am not dirty. I'm not broken. I'm not alone. I did not deserve what happened to me. I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be heard. And I deserve to be believed. So my affirmation is I am worthy of respect, of love. I'm worthy of love and respect. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. I'm worthy of love and respect. My story matters, and I am reclaiming my voice. I am just worthy of love and respect. My story matters, and I am reclaiming my voice because I did not do that willingly. I was taken advantage of as a child, and I was let down by those who were supposed to protect me, and that was not my fault. So my many coping sketches, my skills. So what I did was, and I have done this. I wrote a letter to my younger self, and I told myself that that was not my fault. I was not to blame, and I told myself that I was loved, and that I am safe now because that wasn't my fault. And I have to believe that. And I still have that letter, and sometimes I have to read that to myself. I'm not going to go into details about specifics that I wrote in the letter, but it was basically telling myself that it was not my fault. I'm a grown woman now, so I understand what adults know that they should and should not be doing to people at a certain age. I was 22 at one point, and I would never have had sex with a 14-year-old child. So I had to understand that that wasn't my fault, and that I am loved. Even if it's me loving myself, I am loved, and I am safe now because I'm going to keep myself safe. So here's some grounding techniques. Like if you feel overwhelmed, you could try the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. It does work. It looks weird. It sounds weird, but it does work. So you name 5 things that you see. I see my Bible. I see my bug spray because there's a lot of bugs out here. I see the light that helps me to be seen by you guys. I see my phone sitting next to me, and I see a pen that I use to take notes. Those are 5 things that I see. Name 4 things I feel. I feel a breeze coming from the fans that are blowing on me. I feel the seat, the cushion, the soft cushion from the seat that I'm sitting in. I feel the headache. I've been having a little bit of a headache, you guys. I have a condition in my eye, and I've been having a headache from that. And I feel a tingle. I know you guys can see me playing with my nose. I feel a tingle on my nose that lets me know that my allergies might be acting up with me. 3 things that I hear. I hear 2 fans going. I hear cars outside of my house, and I hear water boiling from something that I probably should have turned off. 2 things I smell. I smell the food boiling, and I also smell that bug spray that I use to keep the bugs, away. And 1 thing I taste, or just take 1 deep breath. I don't taste anything, so I can take 1 deep breath. That kind of distracts you, kind of makes you focus on other things other than what could be triggering you at that moment. So here's an empowerment challenge I have for you. Look in your mirror, you guys. Remember, my mirror is right there. Look in your mirror, and I need you to say out loud, I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to be. I am powerful, and I am healing. I can't look at the wall. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to be. I am powerful, and I am healing. So that is kind of my reflection about what happened to me. And it wasn't violent, but it was violating. So that kind of brings me to my speaker shout out. And the next person I want to shout out to is a friend of mine from the Rise and Thrive Empowerment Summit. I also interviewed her on my podcast, but the recording was messed up. I'm going to get her back on my podcast because her story is so powerful. Her name is Jen. Jen was a victim of an assault while serving in the military, a sexual assault. She faced injustice that was just kind of, from hearing her story, it was wrong. And it was just at a lowest point in her life. Even surviving suicide, she committed suicide and was brought back to life and was gaslit through her struggles. And today she is one of the strongest people I know, a wonderful mother, a wonderful wife, and an advocate. She fights back by sharing her story and by coaching others to overcome their own trauma. Jen is a true light and inspiration, and I'm grateful to have her in my life as a friend who still checks on me every once in a while. So thank you, Jen, for being you and showing the world that no matter how long it takes, no matter how you feel, no matter what your healing looks like, it's always possible. So, okay, you guys, that wraps it up for my day 3. My story, my strength challenge. And if this story resonates with you, please like, comment, and share this video so that others can know that they are not alone. Subscribe to my channel so that you can follow the rest of my 365-day challenge. I think I'm at 362 days now. And remember, your story doesn't end in pain. It begins in power. So see you tomorrow for day 4. I love you all and stay strong.